Okay. All right. Sorry about that, folks. I think we're rocking and rolling now. Okay. Again, apologies, YouTube, today. We had some technical difficulties that were not great, and I apologize profusely for that. But like I say, this is live TV, and I'm the only technical person here, the only employee working today. So we will rock with what we have. We will rock with what we have. Okay. So, as I was saying before, we have our kind of thing here. Let's go back here to, all right, we're good. All right. So, I'm going to turn this off for those folks who just didn't get a chance to see. We have that. We have a city. We have to put the words remix in front of the screen here. But I want to do it in such a way where I make these words appear to be, how should I say, they should appear to be um, uh, a building. It should be a building. And on one end, this is great, but there's a little distortion there. So we're gonna go here again. Let's see if we can try it here. Let's go to here. We're gonna go back here. Select these words. We're gonna click here. Paragraph. Okay, that's paragraph. Character. Nope. We're gonna go right here. That one. Okay. We want upper arc. There we go. And the bend is pretty significant here. I don't mind the bend. Let's see what happens if we, oh no, we want horizontal. There we go. Vertical distortion is good right about there. Horizontal distortion, we make that a 0. So that'll be even. So that's not bad. Not bad. I kind of like what we have. But however, we need to see if we can add more than one of these guys there. See, so we got that. So that's arc upper. What about arc here? Nah, a little bit too much. Arc upper seems to be where we want to go. Let me just play with the others though. Bulge was interesting. Inflate, fisheye. What about fisheye? Nah. Nope. Looks like we are arc upper. That's where we need to be. Okay, I like that. Now, I'm going to take this here. Command T. Whoops. Command T. There we go. Like that. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to try to see if I can do here. So I'm taking these words, these letters. This is pretty good, but I now want to go to right click. Well, let's see here. I'm going to duplicate this, but I'm going to rasterize this text here. And you'll see what I'm going to do just a moment. I'm going to rasterize this text. And that means taking it from its smart object kind of state where it can be edited to basically bump down to just pixels. So it's now a rasterized object is what we would call it. Okay, so I'm hitting Command T. Whoops, I don't want that. I'm sorry, we need to click on this. On Command T. Now, I like the way that looks, but I'm going to go to Warp. And with Warp, what we want to do is bring, there we go. See what I just did? I manually took the words down. I manually took the words down, but what we want to see here is if we do that, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But however, I think I want to take, nope, nope, nope. Right there is good. That's what we want. I kind of like this vibe here we got going, but I want to move these, that, whoops, nope, that's not right. I'll go right here. There we go. Right there. That's not terrible. And R is good. Yep. All right. So we got the word remix here. That's not bad. However, we now want to stretch this out like so. And we'll bring it down just a little bit in size so you can have a little bit of the sky. Now, let's go Let's turn the white background off. So here we go. We have the words remix. And that's pretty good. I like that. I like the way that looks. That is not bad at all. But now we need to figure out how to make these things look like words and look like buildings, and different ways to do it. Different ways to do it. One way to do it, of course, is I could draw it all in Photoshop, and that would be great. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this into VizCom, and we're going to start playing around with some of the tools that they have in there, and then we'll be able to do some post-processing effects as well. But what I will do here is I will go to export as, go with JPEG. That'll be good. We're just going to call it Remix Building. Okay, great. Now I'm going to go to VizCom here, and we're just going to play around with it because I'm sorry, I've been listening to the audiobook of Octavia Butler by Susanna Morris. I've been making my way through it a little bit at a time. Let's see here. I want to go here. I want to go to right there. Okay, great. Now we will go back to our workspace here. Okay, good. We're going to create a new file. We're going to call this Remix AI. We're going to start it in Studio. Okay, good. Now I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to grab that image with just the words remix. Okay. Got to see if I actually, well, maybe I put it in Diesel Funk Dispatch folder. Let's just take a quick look. A quick look, baby. All right, let's go here. Go remix. There it is. All right, I put that in the wrong folder, but that's okay. We're gonna put it in its proper place now. All we got to do is find the actual image here. There it is. So drag and drop right there. Okay, great. Now, I'm going to go back to here, drag up. Okay, now, here's where it's going to get interesting. So we have this here. We're going to name this. Oops. Okay, good. So we got that. Now, let's see how we're going to do this. The thing I want to do here, I got to be very careful with this, is, all right, so there are different ways to do this. The different ways to do it is, the first thing I could do is I could say, you know what I want to do is I want to select this image here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new layer. Now watch this, guys. This is one of the things that's great about VizCom is it allows you to do illustrations within the element here. These very thick layers here. I think what I want to do is I'm going to grab this brush here. Right now everything's set to this, but we're just going to go here. We're going to do a little bit of, and we want that point to be really thin. Right? Like so. And what we want is we want this to have the appearance of kind of a metal structure. But we still want the focused output of the words itself. We still want the words to be, hello, Tiz44, how you doing? Pleasure to have you here. We're still rocking now with on Facebook. It's going good. LinkedIn appears to be going good. Okay. Twitch is going good. Boy, I got a lot of folks asking, hey, could you join my Discord? That's the weirdest thing here. I'm going to have to Naeem Stewart, I don't know, you're probably not listening to me tonight, but I'm going to need to talk to you to figure out what in the world is going on with all these people asking me to join the Discord. People want to join my stream. I'm like, who are you? Anyway, but it's kind of funny, but it's all good. All right. So now we're going to rock here, and we're going to go back. Let's go back to VizCom here. All right, now. Whoops. There we go. All right, we're going back here. We're going to zoom into this here. And what I'm doing here is I'm physically drawing elements in here, kind of like a grid structure, right? Because we want this to appear to be like a sort of physically created structure, right? And I'm gonna break this down. Of course, I'm gonna break this down to where it'll be like you'll be able to see it, but I don't want all of the things to be so prominent. But I want to add this here because I want this kind of high tech kind of element to it that'll be fascinating and add detail because this is going to be probably viewable. It's going to be a very large image. So I need to make sure that these details here, this kind of grid work, is visible and prominent enough, but I don't want it to overpower the image because I want the image to kind of like come in. So you see what's happening there now? It's starting to look a little bit like a kind of a physical structure, which is good. That's what we want. By the way, who saw Alien Earth the other night? That's pretty grim, boy. What are they going to do here? You got crazed AI robots, loose, carnivorous aliens. It's pretty alarming. Pretty alarming, I would say. All right. Boom. There we go. Okay, so you all see, and I don't want to spend too long on this because I got to get to my other images. But I felt like 2 days with me not being on the stream, the only way I would like to prefer to be off of the stream this long is if I'm traveling or something like that, and I can't do it. But this right here, and for the client, I won't mention his name, but again, I want to just profusely thank him for allowing me to do this. And I hope what it does really is bring a little bit light to what he's doing because I think the dude is dope. I think he's dopa-lopa. All right, go here. Again, with this stuff, yes, I'm using generative AI, but you still got to what? What am I doing? I am drawing. I am drawing. You still got to draw. No escape from it. You don't have to do it to the point where it destroys your body anymore. That's nice. That's a very nice feeling. But yeah, let's be very clear on what this is. It's still drawing. You still got to draw. Still got to kind of put the human touch in there because the human touch is what makes our work have heart, right? You're literally embedding heart into the image. Yes. Now let's zoom out here. Look at that. Look at that structure there. See how that is? And I'm doing this. When I took this job, not totally appreciating that there's going to be a bunch of people looking at this work. And so it was important that I make sure that at least the work was high resolution enough so that it can be read. That's important. Important stuff. Go here, pop that up there. There we go. All right, good. All right, so moving forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a loose grid of stuff, and then I'll go in and very quickly work my way through this. Yeah, that might work. That might have worked, man. Whoops. What happened there? There we go. Sorry. Inadvertently. There we go. There we go. All righty. So this is, I was telling the class today, hello, Dr. Watson Jr., how you doing? Oh, hey, man, what's up? Good to see you. I was telling the class that I was lecturing earlier today that so much of this stuff is about implied detail. This is implied detail that I'm working with here. It is literally uh, greeblies that they use on model spaceships and stuff like that. They would use it to imply that spaceships actually had some technical ability to fly. That's pretty cool technique. Now, if you look at this here, right, the way everything is set up, from a distance, it actually now is taking on the appearance of a piece of machinery, right? Close up, obviously, if we zoom into it close up, as you can see here, it's very sketchy, and that's fine. I don't mind the sketchiness, but what we want is we want the impression that each of these structures here are a kind of a remix, if you will, a kind of a mechanical, literally a mechanical breakdown of, of, of fascinating technology. Of course, technology doesn't exist, but what we're doing is we're just trying to give the audience that something is going on that it is not. We are trying to apply implied detail. There we go. Mm-hmm. All right. Get the top here, and I will leave the word E is done. Okay. All right. There we go. Uh, so why do I stream? Why do I stream? I stream because it allows me to get my work done. It allows me to have a level of accountability, which, frankly, much to I'm sure many colleague, former friends, chagrin, that I have not always been the most reliable because I have discovered I am not the greatest. Not, I certainly am not very good at it as a 9 to 5er. I am not. I don't. Working for someone else is not the thing that I most love and desire to do. I want to design my own worlds. However, designing one's own worlds requires resources, and you have to be able and willing to supplicate, I guess that's the word, your own vision for someone else's vision. And I went for many years doing that. I had my own vision. I always did my own stuff, but I never got any satisfaction for doing anyone else's work. And there was no slight against those people I was working. I just knew myself that this was not something that I wanted to do. I want to be able to do my own thing. Okay, that looks pretty good there. Shift that. There we go. Yep. This last part here. This is also somewhat influenced by not only Will Eisner of the Spirit fame, but also of Earth, Wind, and Fire and the work where you would have these Egyptian pyramids, whatever, and people would go inside of them. So you can see here, now watch this. If I go here, see, that turns on and off. You see that? But I have the ability to reduce the resolution on this. Watch this. See? See how that is? Right now it's at 35%. This is 100%. So I have the ability to, when I save this file, it'll be a Photoshop file. So I'll be able to go in and add things to it, which is pretty freaking cool when you think about it. All right, let's see here. All right, I gotta go, y'all. Oh, my brother is just letting me know that Thundercat has a new tune now. Thundercat, if you're listening, I know you're not, but if you would or did, I would love to do something with you, man. I love Thundercat. Thundercat is awesome. All right, now here we go. Now, to speed up what I'm doing here, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go like this. What I'm going to do is create grids quick. And again, you might say, well, Tim, why are you drawing so loosely like that? Well, this is how that matte paintings were back in the day. They would do these things, and these matte paintings would essentially, if you ever looked at the old matte paintings of people like Harrison Ellenshaw and Peter Ellenshaw, who are the great Disney matte painters, what they did when they were working on the Disney movies and ultimately on Star Wars is the matte paintings they did. I mean, they would be these huge paintings, and if you zoomed into those huge paintings, they would really be like kind of scribbles, right? The Greeblies that I'm speaking of. They would give you the impression that there was a lot of detail there when there actually, in fact, was not detail. You know what? Let me start some music here. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I did my thing the other day, but I think what we'll do this time, we'll play a little. Oh, there we go. We'll go here. There we go. Turn this down a little bit. Yep, there we go. So you see how I'm drawing here? Literally taking this image, and I'm adding that detail. Watch this. So I'm going to take this here. Yep. Yes. Yes. Ha ha! Look at that. See how that looks more mechanical now? Now I'll go in with a thicker point. There we go. Yeah, see this right here was a little bit faster. Look at that. Yep. All right. Greeblies, people. Greeblies. There we go. Yep. All right. One thing I want to do, and I'll get this right here. You'll see something I'm going to do when I go back around after I've added the detail to these things here. Again, music today by Tyler Slack from from Clarksdale, Mississippi, or I don't know, well, lives in Clarksdale. Let's say native of Mississippi Delta. His mother is my god sister, I love dearly. Known him so a little bitty baby boy. All right. There we go. Nice. Okay. Now we're going to go here on the back end. Just a few more words to do, and then this sequence here. I will then apply the 3D filter to this particular unit to see if it's possible to get some kind of cool 3D effects out of this so it will read more as a physical structure. I don't want lights necessarily emanating from this so that it reads as a building. I want it to be more like a structure, a segmented structure is what I'm looking for. Yep, that's pretty good though. Pretty good. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, there we go. Okay, so look at that. Look at the way that looks. So from a distance, that actually has some kind of interesting detail. Kind of implies history. Kind of implies a kind of a weather and the state of things here. It's the word that we're trying to do it so that it will enhance the word remix. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, LinkedIn signal still seems to be doing okay. Again, this is VizCom AI that I've been using. VizCom is a very, very powerful program. Been using it now for about a year and a half maybe. And I gotta say, it really does a fantastic job at allowing you to diversify or to magnify, it's perhaps a better word, your skill set. Let me just do one thing here. Yep. Let me go here. Ah, okay. We just got some information in. This is good. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay, we're good. All right. So I like the way this right here feels. Now, here's where we're going to really kind of rock and roll. We're going to go here. Let me erase that a little bit. Can we erase that? Yes, we can. VizCom folks, if I'm using a Wacom and I turn my pen over, I would like to be able to erase. I would like for it to be able to read the eraser. That's what I would like. So just letting you guys know to please implement that change if you could. There we go. All right, keep getting that right there. I don't know why that's happening, but it's all good. Let's put it here. I don't know why. Wait, oh, that's all. Very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. Okay, one of the things I think is happening, I keep hitting the button here. That's okay, I'll move it down. Let me zoom into this very quickly. Actually, I'll stay zoomed out, and the reason why is that although I can't see as well as I would like, being able to simply take this stuff and to say, hey, I can just very quickly add in details. So we'll go here. Yeah. Here. Yep. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. I like it. I like the way that's coming along. Again, nice looking is good. Finished and nice looking is better. Hello, Bentway23. How you doing? Thank you for joining in. I appreciate it, man. Dude. Let's go here. Let's go to Facebook and see what's happening over there. I'm gonna log into. Wow, I am in this the Art of Alex Raymond Facebook group. And I just have to say, it's just incredible. That guy was such an incredible artist. Pretty incredible. Let's see here. All right. Let's check here. All right, let's see here. All right, let's go here and check out what's happening on the desktop for my Tim Fielder Facebook group. Of course, that would not be doing it now because it's not shared to that. Got to figure that out eventually one day, people. One day he's got to figure it out. Copy link there. Now we'll go back back to Tim Fielder. Hang on. Okay, that is posted up there. Not a parabolam. Not a parabolam. All right, now I'm going to go here. I'm going to very quickly get to this part here. There we go. All right. All right, so here what I'm doing is actually moving stuff in a little bit, braced in a little bit, and much looser. I don't know if I need to spend as much time working on something that's going to be barely seen. But again, this image is going to be huge, so I do want to put a little bit of time in. There we go. Alrighty. There we go. All right. Now I have to say there's a heck not as much detail in this M here. So I'm going to go in here and add some stuff. Little greeblies, again, little greeblies that add the effect, the illusion of detail, right? The illusion of functionality where there is none. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yep. Pretty nice. So again, I was listening to Jamar Nicholas, Mike Manley, and Steve Connolly's show last night, Pencil to Pencil. I tend to, I don't chime in as much as I could, or I used to, because now obviously I have my own channel. But I do. Yesterday when I was off, I was working. I was like, okay, what can I do to kind of get the focus off the tediousness of doing this work? So I said, well, let me just listen in while I'm drawing, and I got a lot of work done. But what happened was it was fascinating to see uh, them talk about the whole webtoons thing, and I think they agreed that direct sales stuff was not going to go away, and it won't. Direct sales stuff won't go away, but I will make a prediction: it is going to dramatically reduce in power. I mean, it already is reduced anyway. It's just that you have to think to yourself, those stores are dependent upon people having access to them. And if all they're doing is selling toys and trinkets, that might work. That might work, particularly, because most of those shops have had to make that transition. But for doing comics, I don't know if there's much meat on the bone there anymore. Not sure about that. All right, that looks pretty good there. Let's zoom in on that. See what it is? That's not bad. Not bad at all. So I don't know what's going to happen once I finish this X here, but I do know there's going to be some interesting effects that I'm very, very much interested in seeing what happens when I do specific things here. All right, there we go. Yep. There we go. So adding these ridges in, let's move into that. I'll get the eye last because why not? It'll be the simplest in a certain way. There we go. There we go. Zoom into this. All right, there we go. That looks pretty good. All right. We're hello, Javi Lucina. Javi Lucina, I guess that's what it is. How you doing? People pop in, they can pop right out. It's all good. Love it. All right, LinkedIn is rocking. Twitch is still rocking. Stream is still on. Kick is still rocking. Rocking. See here. Facebook. Let's go back here to where we were. There we go. Facebook is rocking as well. All right, let's move this down here a little bit. We got to do this last little bit here, and I think this image here might be fairly close to done. This actually will turn out to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images from this one image, and I'll show you guys what that is in a bit. Okay. Yep, this is AI. But if you'll notice, for the last 30 minutes, I've still been doing what? Drawing, because you got to draw with these tools. You're not trying to have the tool do everything for you. You're trying to have it reduce the amount of wear and tear on your body. Yes, some people may be into the pain of drawing for hours and hours on end, and I was at one point as well. I don't do that anymore. Now, I like to get my ideas down, And then when it gets to that heavy rendering part, I'll only do the part. I just want this stuff here to get me into firing range. That is what it's for. That is why we use an airbrush, so we don't have to paint with a regular brush. That is why we use Photoshop to get us at that point. The issues that most people have with AI, understandably so, is that the large language models that it was built on, all of that work was stolen. However, here's the problem with that. Well, it's not the problem, because it's nothing but a problem. They didn't just steal individual artists' work; they stole everything. They stole the they stole everything. They took everything. They took every photo, every bad selfie, everything. And I don't necessarily think that we have. There's no such thing as putting this back in the bottle. That's out. The tech is out in the wild. I think what we have to understand that this is no different than using GPS. When they got GPS, they didn't get permission from places to map out where people lived or locations. They just took it. But no one's willing to give up their phones, even though that stuff is done with child labor. No one's willing to give their devices up. So our job now is simply to use these things as a tool. That's our objective. Use these tools to assist in your already existing skill set. All right, there we go. So I would say this is now done in terms of this particular image. But here's we're going to play around with it a little bit. Let's just go here. See what I'm saying? I'm going through with a thicker pen here. Watch what I'm going to do here. Yep. See what's happening? I'm adding that harder edge there. Very important. Yep. Now we can do this. Yep. See? I love that. There we go. There we go. Okay, this is good. So you see what's happening? How adding that sort of detail to this is giving the stuff. It's giving kind of like a the illusion of a depth map, meaning that there are surfaces on this particular structure where some are higher than others. That's the point. That's all I'm using this stuff for. Now you might say, okay, but then why the need to do this? I'm going to show you that part. Why would I take that tool and not just paint it normally? Well, one is time. Also, there's some other things, advantages to using this tool that it can give me. I'm going to show you guys in just a few minutes here. Let me just very quickly move to this right here so I can move along fairly quickly. See? That's pretty good there. Boom, bam, bam. Yep. Yes. See? Oops. Right there. Yep. Nice. There we go. All right. So we've done the M. We're almost done with the R here. Okay. Yep. Let me bring this point down here a little bit to add a little bit more detail on this. There we go. All right, that's pretty good. Now we're going to go in with the E here. Just like in Photoshop, uh, Viscom has the hotkey. If you hit the uh, plus sign, is that right? If you hit the right bracket key, it enlarges your image. If you hit the right left bracket key, it makes it shrink. So it's quite interesting. Again, there are features in this definitely dealing with things like reference images that I don't know as well. But again, I'm a traditional illustrator that is using this to draw. That's what I'm doing. Will be interesting to see what happens when they finally get around to getting pressure sensitive images. It's probably in there a little bit to an extent already, but it will be interesting to see what happens when they get to that. There we go. Okay. Yep. Liking this quite a bit. So the E is done mostly. Yep. Let's make this little part here thicker. There we go. All right, I like that. Now, there's one other thing. I'm going to do this I and the X here right quick. There we go. Okay. There we go. So that X is done. Now let's do the I. There we we go. All right. Now, I like that. So this is good. The only thing I think I want to do now is I want to add one more layer, but this time instead of going with a gray, I'm going to go with a light, much lighter tone. We're going to see what happens here. Yep. See? See what's happening there? So I'm adding what would be termed as a beveled edge. And it's got a soft edge. Uh, if you're not in 3D, or if you haven't used 3D, you probably wouldn't know what a beveled edge is. A beveled edge is kind of a edge that would normally be sharp, but it's actually rounded to be smoothed out. Very, very necessary thing. All right, there we go. Yes. There we go. Good. There we go. Yep. Just a little bit, just to give the suggestion of complexity. There we go. Nice. Okay, here we go. Nice. See what that's happening there? See how that's adding? I like that. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. REMI. Let's get the I right quick. So what that's doing is putting in these highlights is adding more three-dimensionality. Now you might ask, well, why do that when you could just automatically turn it into a 3D object? Well, that might actually be the case. It might turn out that I don't need to do that. But hey, what's the fun in that? There we go. All right, now take this here. All right. Okay. All right, I think we're good here. Only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and add just little spot highlights here, there. There we go. Just give it an indication that something else is going on here. There we go. All right. Happy with that. Okay, great. So we've got the word remix there. Now, again, this can all be made. This all can be made like this. We can reduce. See what I'm saying? The influence. Let's zoom in on this. See? Let's leave it at 100 here. All right. So we got this. Now the next thing I want to do, I don't know if it's going to work. All right, so we got this image here. We got all this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to describe this. Now I could write down my own written prompt, but I'm not going to do that this time. What I'm going to do, all right, bold, tall, sans serif letters, spelling remix, glossy black metallic fish with embossed white circuit board etching, beveled edges, slight low angle frontal perspective. All right, I'm going to change this. I'm going to bold letters, bold, tall, sans serif letters, spelling remix. In the shape of extruded into solid shape. Glossy black metallic finish. I'm going to say glossy dark gray. Gray metallic finish with embossed. I'm not going to say white circuit board. I'm just going to say white paneled etching beveled edges. Like, okay, here we go. So we're going to now do this. We're going to say light, low, light. Or we're going to say light from below, moody, photoreal, cinematic. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to see. Here we go. It's going to be interesting to see, guys. It is now 5:47 Eastern Standard Time. Oh, okay. Look at that. Okay, so we do have something here. But that's a little bright. Let's go here. That's interesting. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So you see what it's doing is what it's doing here. It's literally taking my drawings. I don't like that one. That's a little bit too dark. This one I'm going to add. I'm going to add that one. That one is interesting. Let's go back here. Here to here. I think we're going to keep this one as well. But I want to now do one more render. I want to do a render. We're going to say glossy, dark, gray, metallic finish with embossed, with paneled. Beveled edges that catch highlights. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, guys. Okay. That's interesting. Nope. Not much different than the one before, but what I will do, okay, it is saying extruded into solid shape. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. With embossed white panel etching. Bright. Beveled edges. All right, here we go. Yep. This is fun stuff. Oh, hello. Hello, Kansas City Library. How you guys doing? Jay Harry, how you doing? Man of the Hour 86, how you doing? Javi Lucina, hello. Bentway 23, good to see you again. All right, let's check this out one more time here. Interesting. All right, I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to add, do I want to add anything? No, I don't want to add anything. We're going to say this is pretty good as is. However, one of the things I'm going to do here, I'm going to duplicate this layer. And I'm going to drag this all the way to the top. Yes, there we go. Now, we've added in these highlights here. And this is what I want to do. Let's see what happens now that we've added. By the way, you'll notice here that these letters, see how these letters are extruded? So they have an extrusion on them. That's pretty cool. But we're going to say, hang on one second. I want to do one more thing. Let's do a generator here. Let's see what happens now. If this catches. We're going to see if it catches, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But no. No. Nope. Nope. All right, we don't like that. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to, actually, I will leave that there. And I'm going to take this resolution down there. Yes. Like that. Yeah. See how that is? What that does? That's pretty good. Now, here's the moment of truth. Here's where things get really weird. Watch this, guys. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to say with deep extruded, deep, or I'm going to say wide. No, yeah, deep extruded into solid shape. Hit generate. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to see. Yeah, that's not quite it. It's interesting. Wow, look at that. That's interesting. Nope. All right, so here we go, guys. Here's where it's going to get kind of interesting now. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to try two things here. I'm going to go to turn this into a 3D object. And we're going to say, I think right now we won't worry about the topology of it. What we will do is do detailed sharp. All right, see how that's rendering? So now Viscom has the ability to take a drawing, to take an element, a concept, and it can turn it into a 3D model. And that's pretty cool. So let's see what it does here. It'll take a second to get through this. Let me check the hello, Jay Hiri. How you doing? Again, I stream 5 days a week. This week has been a little weird for me because I'm on the massive deadlines, which is okay. This is the life we chose. And man, I'm literally, this is what I do for a living. Thank God. I could be doing something I don't like. So I'm very, very, very happy to be doing this. This is all right to me. See here, live streaming. Okay, that's going pretty good. YouTube is going good. I had to stop and start that stream for a second. That was weird. But it got done. It got done. Most important thing. Yep, we're going good here. All righty. It's still rendering the 3D. So let's take a moment here. To talk about Alien Earth. Let's take a moment here to talk about Alien Earth. We're going to go Alien Earth, episode 8 trailer, which I have not fully seen. Let's take a look at it. There it is.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Whoa.
Being more than human.
Hold on.
Feels good, doesn't it? Being more than human. We're food to them. It's your food to them.
We'll be okay, won't we? Won't we?
All this time, we've been afraid of them. And I think they should be afraid of us.
That looks pretty good. I would imagine if they're smart, they're going to get renewed for season 2.
Feels good, doesn't it? Feels good, doesn't it? Being more than human.
This guy is my favorite character,
Being more
Murrow.
than human. We're food to them. It's
Very sad what happened to Arthur last episode.
We'll be okay, won't we?
Pretty gruesome. Everybody's waiting for that guy to get it. Boy Cavalier. Everybody's waiting for him to get it. I suspect it's going to be the eyeball that does him in.
They should be afraid of us.
That's the one I think that's going to do it. They're going to get him. Will they get him this season? I don't know, but we're going to see. Alien Earth is pretty hot. I like Alien Earth. Let's go back to Viscom here. Okay.
Good morning. I'm Barris McCarthy, the moderator.
That was a great scene. Anyway, Viscom. So here we go. Loading the 3D. Look at that. Look at that. See that? Let's zoom in here. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. Pretty awesome. But yeah, that's interesting, but I think I could, well, here's the thing. Photoshop actually used to be able to do this. Photoshop used to be able to do this. And right now, we're going to delete that because that looks horrible. It really does. I was going to try to play it off, but that looks horrible. right, here we go. Remix. Let's try it again. One more time. 3D. But this time we're going to do, let's say, I'm going to do one thing here. Deep, wide. I'm going to say, what? You know what? What am I doing? I'm sorry, guys. Let's do this. That's there. That's there. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if this works. And this is just me goofing around, so work with me here. I'm going to take this brush here. And I am now going to sketch out some things that I think will be quite fascinating. Then I'm going to ask for a render. See what I'm doing? Yep. Oops. Go to edit again. See what's happening? I'm actually able to go in here and just add a few things. And I won't make it super detailed because the software can add the gradients. What I'll do is I'll make sure that I, because I want this letters to be thicker. That's the objective. Oops. There we go. All right, I like that. Now we're going to do it again here, but this right here, since we know, okay, that looks pretty good. You see what I'm doing? I'm adding a thicker extrusion to this stuff here. Right? I'm keeping it light though, because we don't want to overdo it. You still have to draw. You still have to draw. You still have to draw. Do we understand? There's no escape from this stuff. You still have to draw. It's just that you're using the tool to add detail where necessary. That's all it is. I'm not doing the gradient in Photoshop, but I'm telling the software to apply a specific type of gradient to the area. That's the way it works. Is it fair? No. Does it make life easier? Absolutely. All right, now here's where it's going to get a little weird here. Whoops. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. Love that. Let's go here. There we go. See? Now, I'm going to go in here with a slightly darker point. I would hope that eventually they will get tools so you can blend a little bit more ergonomically with this. Oops, what is that? Oh, it's because I had, crap. All right, let's see here. Command Z, there we go. I hit the wrong button, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. All right. All right, I'm going to take a white brush here, and I'm going to do this. See what I'm doing? There we go. And the cool thing is, I'm drawing this in VizCom. When I save this image, it'll be saved as a Photoshop, so the actual drawing will be saved, and I can utilize it if I want. And this is how I love to integrate the standard illustration process into this. Really, really does make a difference. You can still have your line work showing in this process. It's pretty cool. There we go. All righty. Okay. I would say that's pretty good here. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to render, generate, and let's see what happens. All right, guys, here we go. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Do you guys see that? Let's look at this. Look at this. Isn't that awesome? All right. This is very, very good. Wow. Look at that. Now that is freaking hot. I love that. I'm going to add this one. I'm going to definitely add the first one. Last one. Yeah. But it's interesting, though. It's interesting. But no, I like this one I love. That one I love. Now I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to say light from below and behind the letters. I said moody photorealistic, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add specular highlights. Okay. I don't know what it's going to do, but we're just going to experiment a little bit with it. Let's see what happens. We're going to see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Nice. Nice. That's what I'm talking. Oh, a little bit too much there. Interesting. Interesting. This one is the one. That's the one. We're going to add that one there. Okay, with that, we would call this particular exercise done. Now we're going to import this over the city, and we're going to see what happens next. This I love. Oh, God, I got to sit up because not enough blood in my butt there. Hang on 1 second. Oh, that's what happens when you sit down. All right, we hit X, getting out of that. That is beautiful. I love that. I love that. I think that is absolutely sexy. All right, now we go here. We go to File, and we do Export. There we go. So that is there. Now let's check in with here. Hello, Lamorris Richmond. How you doing, man? Hello. go. The boy Vin Drag, boy in drag, whatever that. Yeah, I think I know you. That is my daughter. Very cool. That is my daughter. I will not reveal her age so as not to have to pay the price later. But she is still a youngling to me. See here, LinkedIn, Twitch is going well. Oh man, that's great. VizCom, you guys are awesome. I would just ask you to don't give up, keep working, keep integrating, reach out to more than car designers or game designers. They're comic book artists, I'm sure, who are using this. I think I saw one guy, but I want to keep doing what I do with VizCom. I think VizCom is awesome. All right, here we go. I'm going to minimize this. Now we're going to go back to this. Remember all this stuff here, that incredible? We went from that. Oh, now we're going to put it over this. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Okay. Now it's going to be a little bit interesting here. We're going to go to there. Remix Building AI. Is that the one? Hold on, let me check. Hang on. I check one thing. I got to make sure if I. Yes. Yes, that is the one. Okay, so we're going to go here, Remix Building AI. And drag and drop that right in that folder. All right, now. There we go. I'm going to open this with Photoshop. Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The moment of truth. So that's pretty good, but however, I mean, I love that too. So let's turn these off here. Let's go to what we have. Okay, that pencil drawing was dope. We had this, and of course, we had this right here. So here's what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Is that the one we want, or do we want that one? There's a part of me that wants a lot of this stuff here. This really, really, really amazing work that this it's like it just makes it so much easier. You're not killing yourself. It's just really, really great. But anyway, don't want to get mesmerized by that. Want to do this here. So we have this, right? And I'm going to duplicate this here and that there. Yes, I'm going to duplicate these two dudes. And I'm going to duplicate them just like that. And I'm going to move them all the way up here. I'm going to show you why. Because I want to now start turning these on. You see what's happening? These elements are now overlaid on top of these 3D objects. But let's see what happens there. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Yes. Very, very interesting. Look at that, guys. Look at that. And now, that, I think, is the one. However, I'm going to duplicate this image here. And I love the way it looks. I love the gold feeling of it. I love the whole thing. But what I think I want to do here is I want to play with levels. Let's see what happens if we... look at that. Look at that. See how it gets a little bit darker? Then we... Oh! You guys see that? That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. See? Now, watch this. I don't want the greeblies on the surface to overpower this. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. I'm just simply bump it down. See? So I'm bumping it down. See what happens when I'm bumping it down? Now I'm going to go here. I don't want that to be so over dominant. See? Pretty good. I like that. Now here's what we're going to do. Here's where the moment of truth comes. We're going to go here. We're going to go here. I'm going to select these guys. I'm going to get Command G. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to see. We're going to find out. So I'm going to say remix word. Remix building. B-U-I-L-D-I-N-G. Yes, I'm going to Command C. F here so we can go back to our cityscape. Nope, not that one. This one. Yes. Here's the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Here's where we go. Command Shift D. Ah, yes. Look at that. Now, here's where we got to see if we can make this work. Because, first of all, I love the way that looks. So, let me just try something right quick. Let's go here, password. Let's go to multiple. That is insane. We're going to go to, wow, look at, oh my God, look at some of this stuff. It's just, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I just love doing this stuff here. All right, so we got remix building here, which is pretty good, but I think what I want to do is right now that's set to pass through. We don't want that. We want that to be a normal, right? And then we want to take the highlights down even more. There we go. Okay, there we go. And let's see what happens if we move it to linear dodge. Okay, there we go. That's good. That's good. I can live with that. So this gives you the impression of a metallic wall, which is what we're going for. Okay, so now we've got that. I'm going to duplicate this. Turn this guy off. I'm going to put this together. I'm going to Command E. That collapses that image into a single rasterized object. But here's where it's going to get a little weird. Take this right here. Come on, baby. Do this from. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Let's see here. How can we do that? What am I doing? No. This is what I'm going to do. This is going to be so freaking weird. But watch this. I'm going to take the magic lasso tool. Well, that's interesting. I could remove it by hand, but hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm going to go to generative. Generate image. I'm going to say remove background. Hit generate. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what it does. Let's see if this powerful software is... Oh, whoa. Good God. That didn't work. All right, we're gonna say that didn't work. Okay. Let's try one more time. We're gonna say generate image. Style. Nope. Effects. Nah. Let's say photo. Remove words from background. I'm sure it's not going to work, but we're trying to get. That was not good today. That was really bad. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. I think we can make it work. Wow. Yeah, not good. It's doing stuff I didn't ask it to do. Okay. Photoshop has not performed well with this. That's okay. That's why we got this here. So here's where we got to go back old school on them, guys. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit F. Because we want to try to see if we can finish this in the next 15 minutes. Again, thank you guys so much for joining in with me today. Very exciting. I love doing the work that I do for a living. I love doing it for you guys because you guys see how I'm working. I think, could be wrong, but I think there's something to showing folks how I work, because ultimately everyone is going to have to do some kind of variant of this, meaning that we live in a world where people, if you are a painter, a dancer, a CPA, a plumber, a teacher, you got to have, I won't go into her name, but there's one teacher who we worked with the graphic history company before. She teaches in the Bronx. And let me tell you, this woman is a fitness model. I won't mention her name. She's listening. She'll probably know who I'm talking about. And she's, first of all, she's stunning, right? But to see her travel and to show her workout routine, knowing that this woman is one of the greatest teachers out there, this fantastic teacher of young kids, very, what is the word, studious, very, very, very calm, very collected. But to see that in conjunction with her social branding, personal brand, it just adds warmth to everything. I watch her because she's dope. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, let's go back here. Let's see. We're gonna do this the old school way. We do magic 1, 2 here. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. Magic 1, 2. Had to go old school on them. Yes. I don't know. What? Here we go. Not terrible. Not terrible. Not terrible. Just on the edge there, but that's okay. We can fix that. Wow. Sometimes the old ways are the best way. Just right there. Okay, no worries, no worries, no worries. Oh, it's good. It's all good. It's all good. So watch this, guys. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to do a Command-Shift-I. So we now have that object selected. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't actually want to lose the background of this. I think the background has something useful in it. This is great. This is great. Now, here's going to take this. I'm going to add to this. I'm going to add right off in there, right? Just like, oh no. There we go. Yep. Nope. Now here's where it's going to get interesting. We're going to go. And we don't need, since the items here are not, oh, not bad, not bad. Since I don't need them to be perfect, I want them to feel kind of hand-drawn. It's okay to do it. Selection there, like that. Very nice. Okay. Now we can go here and click here. There we go. Boom. Yep. There we go. Nice. Nice. Okay. We're still alive. We're still alive, ladies and gentlemen. Still alive. Okay. Bring that there. Okay. All right. Let's move that little circle a little bit more aggressively right there. Nice. Again, we don't need it to be perfect. Oops. What happened there? All right, let's go here. No? Yes. Oh, hang on. There we go. All righty. I would say this here is looking pretty snazzalazza. I think it's looking snazzalazza, man. There we go. All right, we want to add to this. Whoops. Okay, that's interesting. So I need to add to this. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to take a different tool. We're going to do the polygonal lasso tool. All right, here we go. Bam. Hi out. Clean line. Clean line, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now we're going to go right off in here. I'm going to get some of this crud off here and make sure it's saved in there. There we go. Okay. So we got that. So now the next thing we're going to do, whoops, we're going to take this rectangular tool here and we're going to go all the way down at the bottom. Just like that. All right, we got it. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're golden. But however, there's one thing I do want to do here. I want to go up here, see if we can select that right there. Whoops. Look at that. That's what happens when you screw up. Boom, bam, bam, boom. Oh, nope. Picked the wrong one. Might have done the same thing over again twice, but hang on. Yep, I did. So now we got to go. Yeah, 3. There we go. All right, now we're going to go here and try this. Right. There. Bam. Hi out. Oh, why is that doing that? I don't understand why it's doing it. If it's not accepting this. Okay. All right, so we're going to go here. There we go. All right, I had to do that. That was bothering me. And I'm going to do it one more time here, but I'm going to deselect some stuff here. Oops. Not good. And I don't need this to be perfect because I do want it to kind of sort of appear to be man-made or older. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, here we go. Moment of truth. Here we go. Whoops. All right, we're going to do Command C. Command Shift V. We now have this. Ha! Look at that. That is frickin' hot. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Now, what would happen, however, if we took this here? I'm going to take this image here. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to duplicate this one more time. That looks, I love that. I love that. I think we're on our way here with something kind of cool. Let's see here. 6:26 Eastern Standard Time. Let's move this over here. And I want to try to remove the words here. So I'm going to go here and let's see if this will work. I mean, generative AI has not done well this time, and that's okay. has not done well. There's so many software options out there, guys, when it comes to generative AI. It really is quite fascinating. All right. Okay. There we go. Oops. That's where that dead scan line comes in. That's why we got that imperfections on that selection there. All right. But we can add to it now. There we go. And deselect here. All right. I think we're good there. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to see. We're going to see, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I am taking the background out. Well, I'm not taking it back. What I'm doing is removing the words because I love that style. Now, I could probably just easily generate a gradient on that. But for right now, I think we'll stick with what we've got. Because I might want to put in a gradient overlay over this that will make it fit like a gel over a film gel, make it fit into the scene much more appropriately. Okay. All right, I think we're good here now. The only thing I gotta do is add that to the side there, and I think we are ready to rocketh and rolleth. There we go. All right. Gonna say Gen AI, but I don't know if it's gonna work. It was not working that well before. We're gonna say remove the words. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I am not blown away by what was done before. We're gonna see if Photoshop. Yeah, what is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, man. What is that? Okay, maybe am I hitting the button wrong or something? Let's see. What is this? Okay, that is awful. That is terrible. Let's go to reselect. Select. Reselect. Okay, great. How about I do generative fill and I don't have any directions? Let's see what happens now. If I don't tell it what to do at all, a lot of times I find that and I'm sure there are people who are far, sure there are people who, wow, there it is. If you don't tell it what to do, ladies and gentlemen, it'll do it. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good there. That's great. All righty. So now we know. So I'm going to hit Command E. Is that right? Yes. So that is that thing there. I'm going to turn that off. We have this here, and then we have that there. Yes. Yes. That is dope. That is dope-a-lopa. That is dopalicious. That is dopester of the doping dopesters. So I'm going to move that above. Watch this, guys. We're going to go to, wow. Whoa. Let's go to multiply. Wow. Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Look at that. So so what's happening here is this, that, this, that. Now that's awesome. So all I got to do here, really, I mean, I love the way that looks. I think it's awesome, awesome. We're gonna take this now. I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna move this above here. Let's see here what is going on here. Yes, that is Dopalopa. There's Dopalopa here. Alrighty, I like that. And of course, I have the ability to tone down the details in this as well, so it'll read more. We're not going to worry about that. Let's see here. I like that. So now, here's where we can take this. Watch this. So we know we have this. That is pretty freaking good. I'm very, very happy with that. Now, I'm going to take this here. Right now, set the normal, but what I'm going to do is go to, there we go. See that? How about overlay? Yes. There we go. So that reads, man, that's like some kind of crazy hip hop rap cover. All right, so now we're going to go here. Watch this, guys. We're going to add layers in here. And this is where what I want to do is like this. And I think what we'll do is we'll go behind here. Yep. You'll see what's about to happen here in just a moment. Matter of fact, let me turn this off. And I'm just going to do this. Just like that. Go here, here, here. I'll get a little bit on the side there as well. All right, watch this, guys. Now, what I'm going to do here, because it's hard to tell sometimes when you're doing your sketches what the finished product will look like, because you're going to be adding all these gradients and things like that. And that's all very cool. So watch, I'm going to apply a radial blur to this. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to hit this with a radial blur. This time we're going to go with a zoom blur. We're going to increase that quite a bit. We're going to take that all the way down to the bottom there like that. Yeah, that's pretty extreme. Yep, there we go. See what just happened? So we did that, but watch what we're going to do now. We're going to put that behind this. We're going to take this here. We're going to drop that down just like, well, we'll leave it up there. There we go. right there. Okay. That's pretty good. What I'm going to do here is just drop that opacity down. Yes. Now, in theory, we could also, that's set as an overlay. I wonder if we just went back to normal. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. I'm going to set this to, yes. Look at that. Nice. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I'm happy with that, ladies and gentlemen. I like what I've got. So, more images, more elements to add to this, but I would say the hard part of this is over. The other graphics that are laid on there are done. I just need to finish the other backgrounds and then lay those characters in. Like I said, it's going to be a long night. I don't mind that. I just got to have everything done by the morning time. But yeah, it's been a great, great run. With that, I'm going to shut it down here so I can get back to concentrating without having to stream at the same time. Sorry again, apologies to the audience for the late, just having technical issues, but it's okay because I'm multitasking multiple ways, multiple things, and it's all good. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling on this. And oh wow, look at that! Hold on, watch this, guys. Look at this. See the letters? See, the letters are the same. The letters are the same. There's no difference. But watch this. Watch what happens when I take this. Just break it down just a little bit. See? Whoops, wrong one. Wrong one. Sorry about that. If I go here and break that down. See how that stuff just shows, wow, that is insane. And right now it's set to normal. What happens if I set it to overlay? What happens then? Nice. Wow. That is dope. Remix, baby. Remix. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, guys. With that, you guys are awesome. It's amazing what Photoshop and VizCom, Adobe and VizCom can do together. Clip Studio Paint didn't do a lot of Clip Studio work today. And I'm happy. I'm happy. Yes, this work is grueling because you're trying to do something. You're trying to stay in the lane. You're trying to do the work, trying to make sure that the client's happy. But you're also trying to make sure you're happy because I don't really do this so much anymore. But it came up, or opportunity came up to do. Who has me doing it for him is cool. I don't know if he's seen what I'm doing here, but I hope he's happy with it. But we're going to make it work either way. With that, Diesel Funketeers, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for all of your time, your patience. We are trying our best to do our thing, to be the best artists we can be. Again, pay attention to everything that I'm doing. Please subscribe and like. I've been told by not saying that it hurts me. Please subscribe and like. Please subscribe and like. Go on YouTube, subscribe and like. Go on Instagram, subscribe and like. Go on LinkedIn, subscribe and like. Kick, subscribe and like. What's the name of it? Twitch, same thing. Instagram, same thing. TikTok, we're working on TikTok. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. We'll get it there. Substack, subscribe and like. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.